today I bring you the topic of dilutions. This topic is fairly simple. So recall, molarity is concentration, the amount of solute dissolved in solvent. Molarity is capital M, N is number of moles, V is the volume of the substance. Okay, so that's just from the week before. Dilution. So what a dilution is just a change of molarity or concentration of a solution by changing the volume of the solution. So what does that mean? That, for example, if we have apple juice, we can change the concentration of the apple juice by adding, by changing the volume, by adding more water to it. That will be an example of a dilution. Or if you have soap, right, and then you add some water to the soap, as you can see, this has less soap, it's less blue. It's been diluted, okay? And really, that's what dilutions are used for, is to really well, they're used for different reasons. Like, for example, whenever we buy hydrochloric acid, it comes in a very concentrated solution, and then from that solution, because it's so concentrated, we can make lower solutions. It's kind of like saying we buy this big container of soap, and then we can dilute it to use it more effectively, right? So, for example, CDC recommends to dilute bleach using 5 tablespoons of bleach per 1 gallon of water. That's what I've been using to clean my home around. So we can dilute the bleach using 5 tablespoons of bleach and then 1 gallon of water. That makes an effective cleaning solution according to CDC. Soap dish, it can be used. It can be diluted as well. I always dilute my soap. So I can use it longer. I've been cleaning around the house with this soap too. And diluting sugary drinks, you can use that to take in less calories. For example, this apple juice contains 110 calories per serving. This is half a serving, and I can actually, since I'm doing half a serving, I'm taking half the calories, right? And then I can dilute this. Obviously, it's not to me, it's not gonna taste the sugary, which I like. And I still have some apple juice. I'm taking in less, half of the calories, or just don't drink juice at all, which that's kind of what I do. But those are examples of dilutions. A dilution, once again, is you're changing the concentration. This is gonna taste less like sugar, still apple juice. It just has water, more water added to it. So you have a formula for dilutions is M1, molarity 1 times volume 1 is equals to molarity 2 times volume 2. So a fairly simple formula. And this is a problem, an example problem. They're telling us a 3-liter bleach container has a molarity of 0.126 moles per liter. So that's the molarity. And is diluted using 4 liters of water. What is the final molarity of the bleach? So dilution formula is right here. Let's write it out. We have molarity 1 times volume 1. Molarity 1 times volume 1 equals to molarity 2 times volume 2. So they're asking us to solve for the final molarity, that's molarity 2. To solve this, we can divide both sides by V2. Because that's gonna give us V2 divided by V2, that is equals to 1. And we end up with molarity 2 is gonna be equals to molarity 1 times volume 1 divided by volume 2. And that's going to be our formula for molarity, the final molarity. So let's write that out. We're going to write it over here. So we're going to have molarity 2 is equals to molarity 1 times volume 1 divided by volume 2. So now we can just plug in our numbers into our equation. The molarity 1 was equals to 0.126 moles per liter. And we're starting with the volume of 3 liters. So that's for volume 1. And then it's telling us that it's diluted using 4 liters of water. So our final volume is going to be the initial volume, the 3 liters plus the 4 liters, which is equals to 7. So let's plug all that into our equation. Is 0.0126 multiplied by the volume 1, which was 3 liters, divided by the volume final, that is 3 liters. We had 3 liters, and we diluted it using 4 liters of water. So it's going to be 3 plus 4, which is 7. That's going to give us our final molarity. Okay. If we do that, you should obtain somewhere, let's punch that into the calculator. We have 0.0126 times 3 divided by 4. Divided by 4 plus 3, 7. Right? I should give you 0.0054, and this is molarity, which is moles per liter. That's going to be the final molarity of our solution, for cleaning solution. So fairly simple. Let's say if they give you another problem, this is you guys always struggle with algebra. It's fairly simple. This equation, to deal with this equation, we have molarity 1 times volume 1 is equals to molarity 2 times volume 2. So if they were asking us for volume 1, that means if they're asking us for this, we have to get rid of M1. So to get rid of M1, we just divide by M1. Both sides of the equation, this is an equality. And N1 divided by M1, that's equals to 1. You end up with volume 1 is equals to molarity 2 times volume 2 divided by molarity 1. That's just another way of solving. That will be a different way to solve. You guys need to know how to solve for equations. Okay, so let's look at the next problem. You have a cup with 120 milliliters of apple juice and 14 grams of sugar. So you dilute the juice by adding 200 milliliters of juice, should say water. Sorry, this is a typo, water. What is the new concentration? So this problem is actually a little bit different because they are giving us grams of sugar, so we have to calculate the number of moles and then calculate the molarity. So that's what the problem is, that we need molarity, but we don't have molarity. We have to calculate it first. So molarity, if you recall, is equals to moles divided by liters. So we know we have 14 grams of sugar, so we can convert those grams to moles. We have 14 grams of sugar, which is C6H12O6, and we're going to convert those grams to moles. So we're going to have to divide by grams of sugar, grams of C6H12, O6, and we say 1 mole of sugar, C6, H12, O6. And if you calculate the molar mass of sugar, you add 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 6 oxygens. It should give you around 180 grams. 180 grams. So we can calculate our number of moles. Let's do 14 divided by 180. That's going to give us 0.07 moles. 0.077 moles of sugar. So we are going to divide that by the 120 milliliters, because that is the amount that we have to calculate the molarity. Molarity is equals to, remember, molarity is equals to moles divided by liters. So we're going to divide by the amount of liters, which is, these are milliliters, so this is going to be 0.120 liters. After that, we can calculate our molarity. So it's going to be 0.07 divided by 0.120 liters, and that's going to give us our molarity of 0.58 moles per liter. So this is our molarity 1. We had to calculate the molarity because they didn't give it to us in the problem. So now we can go ahead and calculate the new concentration, because we have the initial molarity, they have the initial volume. So we're gonna do this. Molarity 1 times volume 1 is equals to molarity 2 times volume 2. And we have our initial molarity, which is, see this, should have done this. Our initial molarity, that is 0.58 moles, multiplied by the initial volume, which is in liters, 0.120, equals to the molarity 2, which is what we're trying to find, times the volume 2. Let's look at this. So they're saying that you're adding 200 milliliters of water. We said that was going to be water. So we have to add 200 milliliters. So 200 milliliters plus 120 milliliters, that's going to give you 320 milliliters. So 2 liters is going to be 0.0320 liters. And then we can solve for M2. To solve for M2, we need to get rid of that 0.032. We divide by it. That becomes a 1, right? This becomes a 1. And then on the other side, we also divide by 0.320. And now we can go ahead and calculate our final molarity. So it's going to be 0.58 multiplied by 0.120 divided by 0.32. Our final molarity is going to be 0.2175 moles per liter. Okay. And that's it. those are two examples of problems that you can have. So you can have the molarity given to you, or sometimes you're going to have to calculate the molarity so you can move on, like in problem number 2, where they gave us grams. That's the problem with this. They gave us grams. The grams, we had to convert it first to moles. Remember, we divide grams by grams. We end up with moles. We calculated the 0.07 moles. We divided it by the initial volume, because that's what's going to give us our molarity 1. And then we can move on and calculate molarity 2, because we know volume 1, volume 2, molarity 1. Then we can actually focus and find out this second molarity. Okay? All right. Y'all stay safe.